You need to know all of those, or you need to be able to define ORs. These are the skills and techniques that you'll become very familiar with as you work with our patients. You'll know how to invite them to be more open. The goal is to help the client resolve ambivalence about change and to make a commitment and plan of action. So when I say resolve ambivalence, that this is stupid, I don't want to come here. What do you know? You learned everything in a book. Yeah. You want to help them resolve that they're the one that needs to change. Only they can change. Change is not a bad thing. Change is not dangerous. Change is good. You want to help them develop what we call change talk, where they're actually talking about what they will do to change, to make things, or they may have done something already to change and not realize it, and then in the course of the counseling session, you may say, wow, that's a real change in your behavior because you've done something new. That's something that you wouldn't have done before. So they may not, it may be something that they have an opportunity to do and do not do. Like, for example, when we were doing the mock group, the guy who found the wallet and turned it in to the bus driver. He didn't steal the money. So it's something that they didn't do. Or something that they do that's a different behavior, a change in their behavior. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for cognitive behavioral, how you think and how you behave. There's a relation there, so we want people to actually change their thinking and change their behavior. And you want to help them identify that, because they may not identify that it's something changed. One of the languages that I like to use in counseling is they said, oh really, wow, you've done something different here? Oh, that's a real, you've made some progress here. That's really different. Wow, you've made a breakthrough. I say that to them because they don't realize that, hey, I have?
They just think it's just something that you just did.
They don't acknowledge that that is actually a success for them. And it's a success in counseling that they've actually changed. So this is observable behavioral change, empirical data. It's something that we can see that they've done. Whether it's really how they interact with their wife, how they interact with their mother, how they interact with their kids, how they interact at work, and tell them, wow, make sure you're connecting the dots and point it out to them. Say, wow, you've made a breakthrough, because what it tells them that they've been heard, and when they feel like they've been heard, that feels what? Kevin, you're up. That feels, when they feel like they've been heard,
damn good.
That feels damn good. Someone's listening to them and relating to them and understanding and empathizing with them.
So now they want to continue that.
Yes, okay, well here's how you continue. Come tomorrow, I run a group tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Come to group tomorrow, you're in my group, don't be late for group. And we'll schedule you a follow-up appointment. We'll pick up where we left off next Thursday. Come on, let's go make that appointment right now. Boom, boom, boom. Come back. Yeah, come back, retention, because if they don't come back, we can't help you. This is open-ended questions, and we all know what those are. Open-ended questions are questions that cannot comfortably be answered with a yes, no, or maybe answer. An example of a closed-ended question is one that could be answered yes or no. Have you had anything to drink today? No. An example of an open-ended question is, what is a typical drinking day like for you? So that allows them to elaborate. Affirmations. Again, I'm probably reminding you of something that you already know here. An affirmation identifies something positive about the client that gives credit or acknowledgement. It may be a trait, behavior, feeling, or past or present accomplishment. For example, I really like the way you're approaching this problem. I can see that you are very organized and logical, and I'm sure this will help you succeed in our program. An affirmation is always genuine and never condescending. So, for example, they may not want to be there. I don't want to be here today, or I didn't want to come. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. What's this all about? I don't even know why I'm here. But they're there. So, you want to affirm to them that, look, I know this is difficult for you, and I know you're struggling with this, but you're here, and you're on time too. That's great. Or it can be something from the past, whether it's going to work on time, graduating high school, whatever it is. They may not know or be aware that they've accomplished something there, and you want to affirm that for them.
Reflections. Reflections are statements made to the client reflecting or mirroring back to them the content, process, or emotions in their communications. A reflection is always a statement, and as such, the inflection at the end of the reflection goes down. You can turn a statement into a question by ending it with an inflection upward. Try it in this statement. For example, quote, "You were trying to stop using drugs?" End quote. Hear the difference? With the inflection up, the statement becomes a question. When using motivational interviewing strategies, the counselor wants the majority of their communication to be in the form of reflections and not as questions. An example of a double-sided reflection is, quote, "You've really been trying to stay sober and you're upset by this setback." End quote.
Reflections. And again, I could be reminding you of something that you already know, and for the most parts I am, but there could be some interns or students in the group, and these are important skills that need to be pointed out. Reflections are statements made to the client reflecting or mirroring back to them the content or process of emotions in their communications. A reflection is always a statement, and as such, the inflection at the end of the reflection goes down. You can turn a statement into a question by ending it with a high point. So, you can say to them, for example, "So you're really trying to stop using drugs?" If they're continuing to use. They say they're trying to stop, or I want to stop, and they're continuing, or they want to stop some behavior, yet they're continuing to do it. So we don't point that out to them, we just reflect it back to them. "So you're saying that you want to stop?" but it's really in the form of a question, or just pointing out. So you're saying that you want to stop, but how are you going about doing that? Because they're not stopping. They're either continuing the destructive behavior or they're continuing to use. So you want to reflect, if they say that, you want to reflect it or mirror, you're mirroring back to them what they're saying to you so they hear it again.
Summarize. And this is a technique that should be familiar to all counselors. A summary is simply a long reflection. They can be used to make a transition to end a session, to bring together content for a single theme, or just to review what the client has said. An example is, quote, "Let's take a look at what we've talked about today. You are not at all sure you have a problem with alcohol, but you feel badly about your DWI and its effect on your family. You said that your family is the most important thing to you and that you would consider totally quitting drinking if you believed it was hurting them." Now I'm going off my script here a little bit because this is a perfect example of a discrepancy. This client could be saying, wants to stop drinking and has a DWI and he doesn't want to hurt his family anymore. So you can't not hurt your family and continue to drink. That would be a discrepancy that would be pointed out. You can't be sober and be drinking at the same time. Or another example would be a client who wants to get clean but continues to use. You can't get clean and be using at the same time. That is a discrepancy that we're looking for in the motivational interviewing strategies. Another example would be a client who just wants to get his probation officer off his back. Okay, so you want to get your probation officer off your back, but you show up for the office visit and test positive for marijuana. So that's a discrepancy. Those two situations don't go together. If you want to get your probation officer off your back, great. We know exactly how to do that. But you can't do both.
In summaries, this is a common technique, strategy used by all of us. It's good for ending a session. You want to summarize what we've covered in this session, using affirmations and reflections to summarize where they are, what they've said, what their goals are, and what they're doing. So those OARs are the motivational interviewing skills. Okay? Now, what is the motivational interviewing assessment? Its use of client-centered motivational interviewing style to identify the client's capacity for change. Motivational interviewing strategies that can be integrated into your agency's existing intake assessment process via the motivational interviewing sandwich. I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can also use these skills in individual sessions to identify where the patient is or what they want to work on that day. And that can change. Could follow their treatment plan, goals and objectives, but there may be some new information that they may share with you after they trust the therapeutic alliance, and you're going to want to incorporate that and modify their treatment plan. Methods that can be used with diverse substance use disorder problems. So these skills can be used with any population: adolescents, elderly, men, women, co-occurring substance use disorders. So it's a diverse population can use these skills. Skills for assisting clients in addressing their own substance use. So they know that it's substance use is the problem. Their use of substance is causing them the problems, and we make that connection for them. So they're able to identify that and address what they want to do to change that, and we can help through directive counseling, help them to achieve those goals. But these are their goals. Understand the client's perception and willingness to enter into the treatment process. And as I said before, unless they come back, unless they come to treatment, unless they're motivated to come back and want to come back, we can't help them. Mandated clients, it's okay, because statistics show we do very well with mandated clients. But the patient who wants to come back, who comes back, if we lose someone and they don't come back, or how quickly we can re-engage them after a relapse, we can't help them unless they come. And that's what we want to do, encourage them to come. A therapeutic alliance. Once ready for change, the client begins to identify personal goals and methods to achieve them in collaboration with the treatment program clinicians. That's you guys. So through this therapeutic alliance, they will work in collaboration with you to achieve their goals that you identify with them. And this comes directly from the blending initiative. You can't see it here, maybe on the video, but you have a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. It comes with this education CD. So the PowerPoint presentation and this video and the printed handouts are on the CD. And you'll see if you click your way through it that I'm citing the blending initiative. This is, this is their strategy. Try to use that language, therapeutic alliance. And continue to use therapeutic relationship, but you want to have an alliance. You want them to have an alliance with you to achieve their goals. just been outside in your office, right? You filled out some paperwork, a lot of paperwork, stupid stuff with names of where your father went to college or something, you know, all this ridiculous stuff that you fill out with paperwork. And you're gonna come in and I'm gonna do the assessment and you're gonna have the
Okay.
paperwork. And be him, so what's his name gonna be?
Todd.
Okay, so you're Todd, okay?
Okay.
When I sit down now, you're Todd. Matter of fact, stand up for a second, we won't be on the camera. Okay, so when you sit down, you're gonna be Todd, okay? Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi, my name is William Rule, I'm a counselor here at the program.
I'm
Todd?
Yes.
How do you do, Todd? So let me see, you fill out some paperwork there?
Yes.
That's great. Let's just put this over here for a second. I'm gonna look at that in a second, okay? So, what brings you here to my office today?
My fiance made me come.
Okay, what, she made you come because you're so good looking, or?
Well, there was a one-time incident recently with her, and I think it just, she's saying it's because I was drinking. I think that it has to do with other things. I've just been really stressed lately, so I don't know. So I agreed, to save our relationship, I would come and get evaluated.
Okay, so you want to save your relationship with your fiance because there's a problem there, and you say it's because you're drinking, right?
She says because I'm
Okay.
drinking.
And then when she said the question that you said you were drinking that night, were you drinking?
I was.
So you were drinking. Okay, so you were drinking, and there was a problem with your fiance, and you really kind of here because you want to save the relationship or get your fiance off your back or work something out with her.
Right.
Okay, great. Well, listen, I can help you with that. As a matter of fact, I know exactly how to do that. So have I got a pretty clear picture of what we want to do? And I want to help you with that, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we got a deal?
Okay.
Great, okay. Okay, this is what I'm going. Just look at your paperwork now here, okay? Okay, yeah, it's all correct. That looks good. And I'm just gonna expedite it here because this may take a few minutes. But okay, Todd. I see here in your paperwork that you have had a DWI before.
Yeah, when I was like 19.
All right, so you were so
Years
you've
ago.
had drinking again. And have you ever gotten behind the car when you were drinking since recently?
Maybe if I had like one or two.
So you've
But I rarely drink.
okay, but you have driven when you were drinking, right?
Maybe, not really, no.
And what was the argument about with your fiance? It was about you driving when you were drinking. You have it down here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to drive. I know I shouldn't have, but I was drinking and I wanted to drive that particular time.
Okay, so you see, what you're saying, what you want to do, what we agreed upon, what you wanted to do as far as why you're here and to move forward and save the relationship with your fiance, and currently how you're going about doing it, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work. Okay, so I know, I think I can help you achieve that goal that you have, that you want to work on a relationship with your fiance, get off her back and address whatever issues, whatever they are. But I know I can help you with that. What I want you to do is I want you to come back and see me again. I'll make another appointment and we can figure out, I have a few ideas that can help you achieve this, the goal that you have of saving a relationship with your fiance. Okay? Okay, we have a deal?
Okay,
I'll make another appointment right now. We'll go and make the appointment right now. Okay?
okay.
Come on. See? See how easy that was? Okay, so what I did was, and I'll show you this in the other thing. What he says he wants, what Todd, okay, you're back to yourself. You're back to Tara now, magically, okay? What Todd wanted to do, as far as, I've got a problem with my fiance, and I want to work out the relationship, I want to save the relationship. What he wants to do, and how he's going about doing it, I established a discrepancy there. That he may not have been able to connect those dots. And in motivational interviewing, we want to identify discrepancies that the patient is not aware of. So he's not aware that what he's doing is not, he's not going to achieve his objective by that. So I've identified what he wants to do, and I've collaborated with him, this therapeutic alliance, that I am with you to achieve this goal that you want. And I can help you do that, because the way you're doing it, you're never going to do it. So he sees me as someone who can help him achieve that goal. And he's agreed to come back and see me again. Now, when he comes back and sees me again, I'm gonna do all these other things, and I'm gonna get him to group and bring him in group, and I'm gonna treat him, but I'm gonna treat his alcohol use disorder. I'm gonna treat him for his drinking. He may not address that as the issue, but I'm gonna show him through therapy how, by addressing the issue of his drinking, he's gonna be able to save his relationship with his fiance, have actually a better relationship with his fiance. She's going to be happier. I'm going to get him to sign a release of information. I'm going to bring the fiance into treatment together and treat them as a couple. And I'm going to help him, achieve that objective of having a good relationship with his fiance. But actually, I'm going to be treating him for his alcohol use disorder. I'm treating him and getting him to stop drinking. See how that works? Boy, I can't wait to meet Todd.
I just want to take a look at the website for a moment. Listed above, www.imustnotuse.com. That's the website of the Institute for Learning and Development. And I just want to point out a couple of things here. Here's all the OASAS approved courses that I have. Here's the online courses, which are designed for individual case acts to take on their own. And then I have some distance learning coursework, which is for programs to order the course to use to train their entire treatment team. So this is for group trainings and individual trainings. But I also have some free PowerPoint downloads with clinical information and recovery-based information that can be used for client education or for clinicians to use to learn a little something new. But I do want to point out here my movie, The Whole, A Story of Addiction, Relapse, and Recovery. And this is a amateur, homemade video story, a fictional short story of an individual who lives his life as if he belongs in a dirt hole. And he actually thinks that he belongs there. But I show this to clients, and it works great to initiate discussions, but it's tied into relapse prevention. But there's a free download there at the website. So check it out. I have some other stuff here, and there's some additional courses that is for case acts. Okay? Okay.